Hello, welcome to Isolation Gigs. My name is Elliot Porter. Sorry, not Isolation Gigs. That was last year's podcast. One Pint, One Song. That's right. My name's Elliot Porter. This is the show where I chat to a different songwriter every week about a song of theirs, some of their influences, and we have a look at their music. We chat about it. We see what the reasons behind the songs were, and then we just take some audience questions as well. So hello to everyone that's joining us. We're streaming across 3 or 4 places today, and our page Isolation Gigs as well. So if anyone has any questions, I'll try and put them up on screen. We normally do the question and answer thing at the end. But if there's any relevant questions that you want to chuck in as we go, I will put them to our guest and we will try and answer them. If you've got any questions for me, I will also try and answer them as well. So keep subscribing. You can subscribe down the bottom, Elliot Porter Music on YouTube. It helps grow the podcast. And keep commenting on the stream because we like a bit of interaction. And we've had a 2-week break, but this is episode 10. And we're aiming to keep it going actually now. So we're going to keep it going throughout May, throughout June, and then we might take a little break in the summer, hoping we get a nice summer, so July and August, and then season 2 will come back at some point. So I can already see quite a few people in the chat already. So I'll try and put your chats up as they come, and any questions, just let me know, and I'll try and put those up as well. So if you're listening on audio, this goes out as an audio podcast about 2 or 3 days after the live, which we're on now on Facebook and YouTube. And so you can catch that on Spotify, Apple Music, Anchor FM, pretty much anywhere you can kind of listen to a podcast, you will probably find it on there. So yeah, once again, thank you for joining. And why don't I bring in our guest this week? So I'm very pleased to have with us someone that I actually met doing an online podcast like this one, actually. And I haven't managed to catch her live yet, but hopefully that will be in the future. Now COVID's kind of like letting us do gigs again. So please welcome Nuala. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thanks. I'm pretty good.
Good.
I got the intro wrong. I said the podcast that we used to do last year. So
yeah, and I just gone and got myself a beer as well. Actually, I've got 2 drinks because I needed to use up some wine. So I've got this.
Awesome.
And I got this.
Oh, lovely. Excellent. So we got a bit of wine. We've got a bit of beer. I've got a cider on the go here.
Nice. That looks
trying to
fresh.
Get in.
And that's in a proper pint glass as well. That looks
It
lovely.
is. It's in a pint glass as well. So trying to get in the summer mood, even though it's tipping it down with rain today.
It's
So
a bit shit. Hello everyone, by the way. It's been a little while because I usually do these Wednesday live streams and every evening on a Wednesday, and it's been a little while, so it's nice to see everyone on here. Hello everyone.
Yeah, we've got loads of hellos coming up here, so I'm just going to like quickly put them all up.
Oh, you can see it. This is so cool because I've actually got my phone up, so I'm seeing like comments on there as well because it's nice to see who's here. So I've got it that way as well.
It's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I'll try and put everyone's kind of comments up as they come in.
Yes, Isabel on the port wine.
Port wine. Oh,
mine's
yeah,
tasting like
good.
port right now. So it's been open a few weeks.
It's been open a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets that porty kind of thing, but you know, it's still good. It's still good. So yeah, how are you doing anyway? How are you doing in these strange times?
Yeah, good. I'm feeling excited now because we're getting out of it and things are starting to happen, and I've got some gigs booked and things and some exciting things happening in my midst. So it's good. And I feel like this has been the year for preparation.
Yeah.
I feel like this is all preparation for like bigger things, and so it's good.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can kind of get everything in place, can't you? Knowing that there's kind of like stuff happening down the line. Whereas like when you're busy, you don't really get a chance to do all that stuff. You kind of do it as you go along. But yeah, I mean, we've had so much time to get everything in place, haven't we? So
yeah, exactly. It's been
good. It's a good time for that. And how have you found the kind of period for writing? Has it been? I know a lot of people have found it good. A lot of people have found it quite difficult. How do you think you found it?
I've been like ups and downs really. I think at the start of the first lockdown, like last March, I started writing some really good songs actually. And one of the songs I sent you, Warrior, I wrote that at the start of the lockdown. There was another couple as well, and it's been quite good for me actually. I think, I think with like whether I'm in a lockdown situation or not, like there's always like ups and downs, and I might go a month or so when I don't write, and then I'll just like. I've been writing quite a lot recently. I feel like when I have something to like boost me, like I've got quite a cool thing. I'm going to the US in like a couple of weeks. So, and actually no one knows about this really, but I just thought, I don't know, it's quite an exciting thing. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to say too much because it's like, you never know what might happen. You know, the music industry, and it's very, people can be flaky and things are very up and down. And I feel like there's been a few moments in my life where I thought something might happen and it didn't. So, but it's looking good. And I think when you have people that are kind of supporting you and giving you that, that kind of boost, you kind of, I don't know, it springs you into action a little bit. I don't know, it's just a weird psychological thing. And you start writing freely because you think, oh, people actually like what I'm doing just as what I'm doing, without trying to say, oh, maybe you should write something a bit like this and change this here. And it's like, no, they're like, no, we love your songs just as they are. So it's like, great, okay, there's people that actually really like what I do. And, so it kind of, it's been giving me that boost recently, which is good.
I think that's the ultimate, isn't it? When someone comes along and they go, actually, no, we'd really like what you're doing. Keep doing it and do more of it. And you're right, because we all kind of write songs because we love doing it. And, we have sets to fill and gigs to do and stuff. But sometimes, you can get into a point of going, oh, well, is there another reason I'm doing it? And, are people actually picking it up? And then when they do, it proves that all that hard work that you've done was all worth it, kind of thing, doesn't it?
It's true. It's so true. I feel like, it's, I've had a bit of a revelation moment recently. And then I kind of had a few months where I was like by myself without a manager. I had a manager for like 2 years before. And then end of last year, we split ways. And I kind of felt like a lot of, I don't know, a sense of like freedom again, of like kind of doing my own thing and being able to do whatever I wanted and like taking back control of my career in any way I want. And then I'd kind of, I don't know, I'd had a lot of frustrations in the past, like I'm not where I want to be and everything like that, as we all do, when we compare and everything like that. And I'd got to a point where I literally didn't care anymore. And I was like, I'm going to be doing music forever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is my passion. With me, there's never going to be a moment where I was like, I give up. I'm so jaded and like no one likes it and no, I'm always going to do it because there's nothing else. So, so I got to that point and I was like, no matter where I get up to, even if it's just the 20 people that are listening right now, because it's amazing, like the support I get from people, and it means the world. And that counts for a lot. So, but then once I got to that point, like I got that phone call and I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. It's almost like you have to get to a sense of acceptance for then, to really shine, I feel.
Yeah, do you know what? I've heard that before as well from other artists, and it's almost like, you get to that point where you're comfortable whether people like it or not. You're kind of comfortable in what you're doing, and I think that shows, and that kind of shines through in a kind of a radiant kind of confidence.
Totally.
And it also it's probably the most natural you can be, isn't it? And that's probably what people pick up on, and I think that happens, and we've got here.
I know I could get distracted by that. I'm
I
like,
know,
sorry.
It's the hardest thing. Do you ever do like live gigs? The hardest thing I do on these things is doing a live gig and trying to read people's comments. As you go,
but I'm quite bad because I talk a lot and I stop sometimes in between songs as well, and I'm just like, oh yeah. I don't know.
It's so easy. It's so easy to read people's comments and you forget what you're playing sometimes.
Yeah.
But
people are loving Frida Leafwell, which is, we gave the plant a name in the background.
Oh, okay.
Usually
cool.
I stream from the other end of the room, so I have the plant next to me at the side. And I don't know, everyone was trying to come up with a name last time, so we came up with Frida Leafwell.
Frida Leafwell. I like it.
That's the name of the plant.
It sounds like a poet or something. That's really cool.
It's quite nice.
We've actually, I can see now we've got a lot of comments about the plant. So, and Dean says all Nuala songs tunes are hot, hot, hot. How are you not made it famous? I do not know.
Oh, thank you, Dean.
That's great.
the love.
I'm loving the comments, and I'm loving the passion that people are showing for the music, because
It's amazing, honestly.
that's what
it's
we want.
amazing.
That's what we
Yeah.
want after all.
Love
So
you guys.
yeah, so it's great. There's so many here. I'm just going to keep putting them up, and we'll roll with it. So when I was doing a little bit of research and reading about like what you do, so I normally should say, actually, I should say where I met you, and it's kind of a sign of the times, but I kind of was on the same show as you. I was on Martin Lumsden's Discover TV show.
Okay, yes.
And they were playing your song as I was kind of coming in, and I think you were going. It was one of those shows where they bring people in and then other people go out, and you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know when it was. It was probably about a year ago or so. So I never really met you, but I kind of felt like I did, because I listened to, I watched your song, I listened to it, and I really liked it. And then they asked me about it when I went on the show, and I wanted to say to you that I really liked it, but you'd already gone, I think. So that's basically how I came across your music. But I also know that you've done work with Talent Bank, and I've seen your name around the kind of London scene, because I do the same kind of scene as well. So it's great to finally meet you, not in person, but as close as you can get when it comes to podcasts.
No, it's great. And I feel like there's
thing.
been a lot of these over the past year. Everyone's like meeting new people, but it's always like online. It's always never, this is the new reality that we're in. So
it is. It is. And you've got to kind of roll with it. And Viviana, it says Nuala's amazing singer. I love her own tunes. Yeah. Awesome. And this is a question we may come back to later, but Bradley says, anything in the works for an album soon?
Always, like, yeah. I mean, the thing is, these days it's always about EPs, isn't it? And the problem is, it's all singles based now, which is shit, because it's like, you know, I loved when I remember listening to like albums and like start to finish, and you'd have those tracks that aren't necessarily like hit songs, you know, and single songs, but you still love them, and you might love them more than those singles as well. So I feel like that gets missed out a lot now, because people aren't so focused on albums, and it's all about just releasing single after single. But I would love to put out an album, and it's definitely, it's going to happen at some point, but at the minute it's working on getting an EP out by the end of the summer with this production company in the US. I should be going over there in a couple of weeks and recording and stuff, and then
Awesome.
hopefully by, I don't know, next year, hopefully have an album out. I've got the songs, you know, I just need to kind of get it all together, so that'd be good. Yeah, it's definitely going to happen.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'm an album person, like traditionally, and I love albums. But yeah, the way it is going, you know, I can kind of understand it. So it's kind of like put a load of singles together and then make an album now, isn't it? Really, rather than make an album and then pick the singles from it. So you know, in some ways it's quite a nice way to do it as well. Yes, we've got some great stuff on here.
Hi, Bex.
Hello to everyone that's in the
Tony,
comments.
masking your slight anxiety. What do you mean by that, Tony? I'm not anxious. Don't put things on me. No, I think I know what you mean. You're making me anxious now. Bless you. Hope you're doing well, Tony.
Dean says,
everyone.
get a CD out. I want to hold a signed copy in my hand. Well, that's nice. CDs are hard though, aren't they?
It is hard. And you don't know whether, I don't know about you, but I don't know. I feel like CDs now, it's like a proper old school thing, innit?
Yeah.
It's almost like uncool to have. Although it's like, fuck that, because it's like, if people want a physical CD, then, but like, it's almost like if you are getting CDs, it's kind of like you're not with the times, and it's like a bit, and obviously it's all about streams and everything now, so it's like you're always trying to urge people to listen on Spotify or whatever to get those stream numbers up. You don't want people like listening to a CD over and over, because you want all that to be on Spotify, but I totally understand like people wanting a physical thing as well, so I don't know.
It's one of those weird things. I certainly won't be making like tons and tons of CDs like I used to, because ultimately, like you say, there's not really much point when most people don't really want them. But maybe like for like certain fans that want them, I might do like a run of like, I don't know, 30, 40 CDs if anyone kind of wants them.
Yeah, I think that's good. Like, you know, like limited edition type thing.
Yeah.
That's quite a cool thing. Yeah.
Because it is nice sometimes if people want a signed copy of it and stuff. But in general, CDs are kind of... Sadly, well, I don't even have a CD player anymore. Like, there's not even one in my car, so...
Yeah, no, I don't.
I don't even know where I'd play a CD, which is sad.
Yeah,
but...
I know, it's a sad thing. But Grant's like, how do you sign a download? That's so
I
true.
saw that. That's a great thing, isn't it? 'Cause, that's the point. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some other way that we can come up with that you can do that, but I don't know how.
Yeah. It's really annoying me, this shadow. Can you see? Like, it's just annoying me. There's no way out because it's this, but it's
that
annoying.
thing, yeah. I mean, you can take it away and see what it sounds like, but
I think it's just the lighting. Look,
yeah.
Change. Nah, I'm just gonna have to deal with the shadow.
Yeah,
it's fine.
We'll just deal with it. It's pretty kind of ad hoc, this show anyway. So, we'll roll with it. So I also understand well from the bio, I think I read that you've been like writing songs since like the age of 10 or something.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a long time. Well,
yeah.
I always knew I wanted to sing since I was a little baby. And I know it sounds kind of cliche sometimes when people are like, how long have you been doing this? And I'm like, literally my whole life. I can't remember a time when I didn't sing and I didn't want to be a pop star. Like, I was like, that is my thing. But then I realised quite quickly that you don't really get respect if you just sing. Like, as like a female singer, you've got to like write your own songs.
Yeah.
So I realised that quite quickly. And I always like enjoyed like writing stories and stuff as a kid anyway. And I like just, you know, creative stuff like that. So yeah, it came quite naturally. And I remember my first song was, I went and lived in America for a year when I was 9 with my mum, got a job to work at Harvard, which is like big claim to fame type thing, like, you know, very proud. And so me and my little brother went over there when we were kids for like 9 months. And I came back and I wrote a song called The US of A. And that was my first song, I think. So I remember that. I remember that was, I was 10 then. And I remember that was one of my earliest songs. So I think it was probably about that age, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. I mean, that's a great experience to go and live in America at that age. And also to be writing songs from that age is amazing, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I started off on a keyboard. So I
cool.
had a keyboard that I used to play. Actually, we had a little like, well, not a little, it was like an old like family piano that was always out of tune. It's never been in tune. Like, as far, it's still there now in the same house I grew up in. It sounds even more dreadful now, but it's always sounded bad. But I used to play on that, and then I got a keyboard. And then I realised that actually going and gigging and stuff, when I started doing that, it's much easier to carry a guitar than a keyboard. Yeah. It's much more transportable. So then I started learning guitar. Yeah,
I had the same journey, really. Like, I am a piano player, really. But yeah, purely for gigging, I was getting so fed up with turning up to like an open mic with a piano, and like no one else played piano. So it was just like, although it's cool, you kind of stand out. It's kind of not. It's not like feasible to carry it on the tube and stuff, and all that kind of stuff. You can't just
get it out on the tube or like wherever you are. It's so nice. I love just like, and that's what I miss actually. I've missed this year is just like impromptu, like busking and jamming out and about and stuff. You know, like if you bring your guitar to a gig or whatever, you're gonna have that for the night. So like after parties and stuff, you know, when you're at the bus stop and you're like, get the guitar out, get a jam going on. You can't do that with a piano. Just like, hold on, guys, I'm just gonna like set everything up and like it's coming.
Where's the plug? So,
no, exactly. It's like, anyone got a plug? It feels better.
Exactly. Yeah, and same. I had the same thing. I kind of taught myself to play guitar just so I could write songs really and play them. And weirdly, then I started writing more songs on guitar than piano. So I don't know. It
same here.
Must be something. So you do busk?
That wine just went down the wrong way.
Yeah.
It did.
That's the problem with this song. That's sometimes this podcast. It sometimes happens, you know.
Does it?
Too much drinking and talking. But so you busk quite a bit, I imagine.
Yeah,
or you used to. Yeah.
Yeah, I've not done it for a little while. I actually stopped because it was battering my voice. I did it for a living for about 2 years.
Yeah.
And it was so good. I got loads of great opportunities from it, and it was like a really good like learning curve, and like, you know, I met loads of cool people from it, and great experience. But yeah, I just I didn't know anything about warming up my voice around then, and I didn't know, I'd never learnt to sing properly. I just could sing, and I never like got any lessons or anything. So yeah, and I just ruined my voice, and I ended up getting nodules, and I had to go through this whole like vocal therapy, like working with a vocal coach, Josh, big up Josh, because he helped me so much. Yeah, I had to go through this whole thing and basically kind of relearn how to sing in a way, and like learn how to protect my voice. So now I have to do the whole straw in a bottle exercises thing beforehand, which I'm really bad at, but I try and be good. Yeah, but I'd love to go out and busk again, because it's been a while.
Yeah. Busking is hard on the voice, and so if you went out now, would you have to do it like maybe go out once, then have a day off or something, and you know, just rest the voice kind of thing?
I think my issue always is like I'd get, especially if it was like a good crowd or something, or it was a good vibe. You always feel like you just want to stay out longer and longer. So like 6 hours later, you're still there belting out these songs, you know. Yeah, and that's what does it in the cold as well. When it, especially like in the winter months, and when you know, lots of pollution, and it's not good for your voice.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you moved from, is it Leicestershire originally, and you moved to London. So was London good for busking? I know quite a few buskers in London, and they say they love it. So
yeah. I mean, I did a bit in Leicester before, but not really. I never did it full time. I knew I could make money out of it. I'd kind of we just went out with my guitar, and I didn't have like amplification at that time. Yeah. And I realised I was getting a bit of money, and I thought if I can amplify this and get out to more people, it's going to do much better. So yeah, it was loads better once I sorted that. But yeah, I loved it. Obviously, you have like bad days as well, where like you know, like I've had people trying to like rob my stuff, or like try and like drunk people trying to get on my mic, things like that. Or like just if it rains, you know, if it's tipping it down the whole day, and you go out and the sun's shining before you leave, you think this is great, get on the tube, all your stuff, you know, and then you just can't do anything for the whole day, and it's a complete wasted day, and sometimes you get no money, you know, it really depends, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I went on a busking tour once, and all the places we picked in the UK that we thought we'd make money, we made no money. And then all the places we didn't think we'd make much money, we made more money than we thought. So you can't ever tell. Every day is just different, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to tell. So we've got some comments here. Stephen, hey Steve, how you doing? Reminds me of Glenn Hansard talking about learning to project his voice, playing on the streets to make yourself heard. Well, yeah, actually, I suppose if you play without a mic, you have to project your voice, and just to be heard.
Who's Glenn Hansard? I'm gonna make a note.
So if you've never seen the film once, he's the
I have actually.
He's the guy out of that, and he's a great songwriter in his own right, and it's a great film, and a kind of like a beautiful busking story, I suppose.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's really like indie kind of movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's made with like a handheld camera. I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just stuff that kind of gets right in there kind of thing. And so what have we got here? Let's have a look. I did see a really good question up here from Eric. He says, do you wish to be in the US touring? Well, I imagine you probably would, but...
yeah, 100%, of course. Yeah, that'd be amazing. But I'd love to tour around the UK as well. But I feel like the UK, I think this is why, like, you know, I'm going off to the US to see what's going to happen here, you know, completely different market, completely. I feel like in a way, the US is like, it's a bigger in terms of like, it's a bigger market. Like you have a whole like country music over there, which is like, we don't have here, you know, and different, circles and stuff. Whereas here, I feel like it's very narrow, like in, you know, the kind of stuff that people like. And like, in terms, I'm talking like obviously mainstream, you know, music, like commercial music. But yeah, no, like, so I'd love to come and like do that in the UK because I've never done that, you know. I've never toured around the UK, which I just think is mad. But yeah, man, I tour everywhere. World domination.
Exactly.
That's what I'm aiming for.
Exactly. And once you've done America, you come back to the UK and you'll probably be really well known and everything. So yeah, it'd be great. And So are you going to live? Are you going to live in America for a bit then when you go over there?
So the idea is I'm going to go and spend 10 days over there initially this month to go and record and stuff, and then come back, sort some stuff out, and then the plan is to go over there for a couple of months and do like a little tour, like travels around, I think around the East Coast, and it's going to be like documented, and like it feels weird me saying this because I feel like, yeah, I don't know, it all seems a bit too good to be true almost, because it's like I literally, like I said to you, I got to that point in my mind and then I thought, yeah, and then like it's I don't know, I'm kind of being told everything that every artist wants to hear, which is a bit mad, but
Yeah.
you know, so obviously like, you know, going with the flow and seeing what happens, but that is the plan, and obviously plans don't always go to plan, but you know, but that is the aim, and to kind of get an EP out by the end of the summer and kind of build up my fan base and all those things, and maybe get a deal if it's the right deal, because I'm not gonna go with anyone that is gonna try and change anything about me. So
Absolutely.
but
And
this is the thing, because I know people are sorry, I know there's a delay,
Yeah.
so it's a bit, but but I was this is the thing, because I've had people be like, oh, you know, don't, and like jokingly be like, oh, you know, don't you go to America and then come back with like a boob job and bleach blonde hair, and I'm like, oh, you really see that for me? But like but yeah, it's like, yeah, that I wouldn't work with anyone that, you know, these guys have said to me, we love you as you know, we think what's great is that you bring something real and authentic, and you know, and then that's what the industry needs, and it's kind of, you know, so it's amazing to be told that and be like, oh, okay, literally just me being me is like enough, you know, which is cool. Yeah.
And that is what counts for me, like the authenticity, and yeah, if people want to help you harness that's amazing, I think. And Martin Lumsden, hello Martin, how you doing? Good to see you both.
Hello, Martin.
Martin's a great supporter of music in the UK.
He is. He's amazing.
And you're putting it out there. I did see a good question here from Bradley. To both of you, tell us your funniest or weirdest busking experience. Well, there's probably been a few.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of like the funny. I don't really have many funny busking experiences, but I do have a weird one.
I've got one.
In Cambridge. Like, so Cambridge is really like, you know, affluent. It's a lovely place. I used to play a lot of gigs up there, and I used to busk before doing gigs and stuff. And so we were busking one day. I think I was with my friend Tom, who was busking as well. Like, we kind of take it in turns. And this very, very eccentric guy came up, and he put some money in our kind of busking thing. And I was like, oh, thanks, mate. Yeah, nice one. Thanks for putting the money in, as you do. And then he walks off, and then he comes back and takes the money out and takes the 50p piece
Cheeky.
out. Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. What's he doing? And you're playing away, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Takes the 50p piece, walks to the other side of the road and starts throwing it back at us. So he starts throwing money at us and telling us how bad he thinks we are.
Oh, wow.
And so I stopped and I said, well, if you think we're bad, why did you put money in the first place? And also just walk off, you know, like don't throw money at us. It's that was a very bizarre thing.
Yeah, you get them all though, but that's what's so great about it, because you get so many eccentric people, weird people, which I love. And it does really help you. It tests you sometimes, but it's good. It makes you better at dealing with people in general, you know.
Big time.
But I've had quite a few, because I don't know, I've had lovely things, like people buying me. There was this one lady, and this older lady, and she had like a crush on me, like proper, like she made it very clear, and every time I used to bus there, she always used to get me flowers, and she'd dance around like this, and she'd like dance around in a circle, and like that was really sweet. I had once there was a guy came up to me, and I got a really good like gig from it, because he came up to me and was like, my wife is coming back from a like work like vacation thing, whatever, and I want to surprise her, and I'm cooking her dinner later. Would you mind coming round in an hour? I'm just round the corner. I'll pay you and everything. And I was like, okay, this could be the start of a horror film, but at the same time, like, you know, like, do you want to just come round my house in like an hour? Like, okay, I don't know who you are or anything, but I was like, yeah, fuck it, go for it. So yeah, in an hour I went. We like sorted out the payment there and then with my guitar as I was busking, you know. I was like, cool. 150 quid? Yeah, all right. Went
Sounds
round.
Good.
It was like in the middle of South Kensington, so like really posh, you know. Like he was, I think he was like a chiropractor or something.
Yeah.
But which is also weird. He's just got like these beds like in it. Anyway, I go round and he's like shh, and he comes in. He's like, I've told you you're the cleaner, and that. I'm like, okay, all right, come in. And then he sets me up behind these like doors, you know, these like what they called where you can, you know the ones I mean, you can push aside type thing.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and then I set up with my guitar. I'm like, I don't know what to expect. And then the next thing I know, and he's like, just start playing like now, just like quietly. I was like, okay. And then he like goes back round to the room, and then he just opens the door, and he's like sat like this romantic candles, flowers, like in his dining room with his wife opposite, you know, with wine and everything. And I'm just like playing, and they're having this like romantic moment. And I was just like, and she was like, oh my God. I was like, it was so weird. Things like that are so great, but you do feel a little bit like you're a fly on the wall. Totally, you feel like you shouldn't really be there. You're like, wait a minute, I'm just in this random guy's house playing songs in his living room. Do you know what I mean? And they're having this like, he's just made a like homemade lasagna, and they're like, I don't know, but that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. I've always wondered with those situations, because I've never done one of those things. So I've seen them come up. What happens when you've like finished playing? Is it really awkward? Do you kind of go, oh, see you later then?
Obviously he thanked me, and he was just like, he was kind of like name dropping quite a lot as well, which was a bit weird. He was just like, oh, I know Amy Winehouse's manager. And I'm like, okay, like, cool. But I don't know. But then he was like, yeah. And he just gave me his card. He was like, thank you so much. And like, she was very like happy and lovely. And yeah. And then I went and I got paid, and that was it. It was quite, But yeah. It was an experience.
Awesome. Yeah. I like it. Eric says pocket doors. Are they what? I don't know. I've not heard of pocket doors.
Pocket doors. I don't know what that is.
I don't know about those. And Beck says, I still love this story. It's just the cutest. Yeah, it's the cutest.
Oh, you've heard this one. Yeah.
It's lovely. And as my friend Sam Cox says, love listening to these and hearing all the different experiences and journeys.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. So I think this kind of leads us on to a good... I'm glad we talked about busking, because the first video we're going to show is your song called Keep Running.
Yeah.
Which I believe was filmed in Leicester Square in London.
That was one of my like main spots.
Yeah. That must be cool there, because I mean, it's so busy, isn't it? Well,
it's
in
really
normal
busy.
times.
It's quite intense. You have to be ready for it, because obviously you've got people coming from all different directions. And I found actually it's kind of better in the evening sometimes at the weekend when you get loads of drunk people. Yeah. And they love everything you do, and they just give you notes.
Just
and
throwing money in.
Yeah. Which is good. But it is touch and go. That spot is very, like, it's either people are like into it and they stop, but because it's quite a crossover bit, it's like there's, people just tend to be busy and wanting to get to where they're going. So, yeah. But yeah, good memories.
Awesome. Well, what we'll do is we'll disappear for a couple of minutes. We'll listen to the song. We'll let everyone watch the video, and then we'll chat a bit about the song and how it came about. So we will chill for a second.
I think a lot of people have. Well, it's Keep Running. People know this one.
Excellent.
But yeah.
So yeah, for everyone listening on audio, you'll be able to hear it, but everyone watching, please enjoy the video.
Sun's on my side today. I got a lease of life, I feel okay. Need to call around, get them all out, jump in the car and getting away. Cause it's love and the strength's in numbers. You can try, but they're never gonna run us down. Speakers loud, it's like we're on a come up. Fifth gear, but they're never gonna race us down. numbers. Could try, but they're never gonna run us down, down. Speakers loud, it's like we wanna come up. Fifth gear, but they're never gonna race us down, down. I'm alive on a high, blue skies, nothing better. Hands up, we're on a ride, hold tight, we're laughing together. Ooh, we light it up, and ooh, we can't be certain. Oh, can't hear us coming. Oh, take up and keep running, running. Take up and keep running. Oh, we light it up, and oh, we can't be certain. Oh, you can't hear us coming. Oh, we take up and keep running. Take up and keep running. Oh, oh, take up and keep running. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. I love that. I love that street scene, like in London as well. It's really cool. It's just got such a good energy about it.
Yeah, do you know what? It's always, that was like quite early on as well when I'd written that song, I think. It was that like summer that I'd written it. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's developed, you know, when you start like growing into the song a little bit more and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you know, I can play that so much better now. But
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
But no, it's still a vibe.
It's really cool, and the vocals are really powerful, and you can hear that in the kind of in the live kind of version there, and
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a few things that kind of brought to mind, like the vocal kind of a little bit reminded me of like London Grammar kind of thing,
Okay,
kind of
that's
going
cool.
on, which
Yeah.
which I really love, and yeah, it was really cool. We've had some really good comments. Mr. Sesh loved that. Mr. Sesh is a bit of a fan of the podcast. He comes along.
Who's
Such
that?
a sick
Is that
video.
Sam?
Sam, yeah, that's
Okay.
Sam. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Sesh. AKA Sam.
Yeah. So we've had some really cool. So tell us a bit about that song. Tell us like why you wrote it and what it's about, if you like.
Yeah, so I've just seen Rosanna say, I remember when you wrote this, because she was actually there the day that I wrote it.
Oh, wow.
Because basically it was 2 years ago. We were about to go to this like day festival, and the sun was shining, and it was like in the morning. And my brother was, because I live with my brother, and he was like in his studio room, like with playing some drum and bass, you know, and the energy was high. And yeah, and before I was getting picked up, by Rosanna, some other friends, to go off for the day and have some fun. And I just sat down with the guitar. I was like, I've got 20 minutes. And I just like bashed the song out, basically. I think the second verse came like maybe a couple of days later or the next day or something like that. But basically the most of the song came within like 20 minutes. And I think it was just, again, it's like, just because I was like had good energy, and I was feeling like, you know, and the song is about kind of going and having fun with your friends and just feeling free and feeling like pumped up, and like, you know what I mean? Like you're kind of, and like feeling that love for like your friends and life and all of that. So I think, yeah, that's what the song's about. And I feel like that's why people love it so much as well. And I still love singing it because it's just a good vibe.
Yeah, I definitely get that, and it has got a great feeling in it, and I like the video because you can feel the bustle of people in the background, and it makes you kind of feel kind of quite alive and remember what kind of like the scenes were back then, like with the busking and everything. And Martin says, one of my favourite Discover TV sessions recorded in Camden. So did you do one in Camden then? That must have been
Yes,
cool.
yeah. And I wasn't sure whether to send you that one as well, but I thought, well, yeah, it was either between, because there's a video that we did as well, and it was either between that one or that. And I thought the busking video's got a bit more of a, because it's like me busking, so I can talk about that as well, you know. But yeah, we did one as well, which was really good. Around the same time, I think. But yeah.
And yeah, that's awesome. So was it written like in London then, kind of thing?
Yeah, it was just written in my flat, like just before I was going out. Yeah, I just kind of sat down. It was like the summer. It was in August, I think, or like July, August time. So it was like summer vibes, and yeah, I was just feeling good, and it just kind of came out.
Awesome. I like those kind of songs which kind of just come out of nowhere and just kind of kind of like fall out, and often they're kind of quite fully formed as well when that happens, which I find amazing.
I feel like you can always tell as well. Like I was in this like songwriting session thing the other day with like a load of songwriters. I hadn't met them before. And this girl like played her song, and I was like, I said to her, I feel like you wrote that in like 15 minutes. And she was like, how did you know? And I was like, you can just tell, because it just flows and it's just natural, and it's just like, you just can, like, nothing seems like it's been thought about too much. And often they are the best songs, you know, because they're real. Like,
absolutely.
You can tell. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it has got that natural flow. So do you do kind of a fair bit of like collaboration and co-writing and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been getting back into the swing of it more recently. I've been having a few good sessions with people, and you know, I had a session with this band called Tours the other week, and this girl called Isabel, and we've written some good stuff. And then I think before like whole lockdown and everything, I was having a lot of sessions with different people for like myself, or for like other artists or like producers. I've done a lot of like dance stuff recently.
I could hear that actually. Yeah.
Can you? Yeah.
Could hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite good with like the dance music stuff, and I think it like calls for like big vocals, so I can do that quite well. I'm working with. I was supposed to be in Germany the weekend just gone, for like a session with this house duo called Tube and Burger. And I've worked with them before, and they're amazing. They're awesome, like producers. They've done really well in like the house music world, and but unfortunately I couldn't go because.
Yeah.
You know how it is in Germany, and you know, in a lockdown. And I said to the guys, I was like, I don't think this is a good idea. And they were like, nah, you'll get in. But I didn't. But it's all good. But we had some other sessions over the weekend, and we did this kind of like garage 2-step tune, which is quite cool. So yeah, lots of stuff.
Tell us how that kind of works, because you know, obviously I've done some collaboration and co-writing, but I've never written for like dance music really. So do they have like a set kind of structure to the music, and you put vocals over it and lyrics and stuff like that?
Yeah, like it tends to be that they usually have like an idea or a track that's almost fully produced, and then it can work in different ways. Like sometimes they'll just send me the track, and then I'll just like send over ideas, and we go back and forth, and they say, yeah, I like it, and then I'll properly record it. And then other times I've been in sessions with people like I went in with this Panic, which are like a new like house duo as well, recently, and that was really good, and we kind of wrote it together. But they tend to leave like the writing and stuff to me, because at the end of the day, like they're the producers, and it's like, you know, you do your thing, and it's like, and I think it is sometimes easier in sessions like that when producers aren't trying to like, I don't know, take control fully of like, you know, and use your voice as a way to like for their own like self-expression lyrically. And sometimes that's cool, but it's like, you know, it can sometimes stunt you. And I'm not bashing anyone, I'm just like, but so it can work in different ways, but often I'm just kind of left to my own devices and do my thing, and then they put it on, and
Awesome. Well, I'm sure that's pretty cool. And we've got loads of comments coming in here. Thank you, Eric. Glad you're enjoying the podcast, and please tune in again. We have some great artists coming up in the next few weeks as well. So thank you.
Hi, Lucas.
Sarah,
and hello everyone else. Sarah and Mona.
Love this song. The energy is amazing. I loved hearing it live a while ago. Excellent. And thank you, Eric. Art Block is my mate, another very good songwriter. Hello, mate. How you doing? Another great London songwriter, Wagner. Some nice smiley faces. So I think that's a really good song. So So I've just got, this is a kind of time when we will get some like more audience questions as they come in, but I kind of got some one pint, one song kind of questions which I ask every time.
Okay.
So they're kind of pretty just easy kind of things. So
Okay.
are you an evening or a morning writer, or do you write all day, or is it kind of ad hoc whenever?
I was going to say most evening,
Yeah.
like late, like, you know, just before I'm supposed to go to bed, and then it sparks type thing.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, when I say to myself, actually, I'm going to get up, and before I even brush my teeth, get dressed, anything, literally get out of bed and get my guitar, sometimes some great stuff can come then as well. But probably mostly evening, yeah.
Yeah. I would agree. That's the same with me, really.
Yeah.
And can you write anywhere? Wherever you can be, or is there certain places you prefer?
I don't know. I feel like it's got to be. Not always, no. I think sometimes when you try too hard to, like, you're like, okay, I feel like things are a bit stagnant just sat at home, so I'm going to go off to the park or something like that. And
Yeah.
you put too much pressure on it, having to, like, oh, you know, I'm going to change my environment, and, like, that's going to do something. But
Yeah.
it doesn't really. I think actually the best thing to do is actually just to go and experience different things. Sometimes you think, okay, I'm not going to do anything for a week and just sit and try and write something, but then you're not experiencing life. Then you've got nothing to, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you go and like see people and go somewhere else and travel somewhere or whatever, then that's gonna spark more, inspiration,
Yeah.
creativity.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the hardest things I found about lockdown was that I'm very much someone that loves kind of moving around and going and seeing people and traveling about,
Yeah.
doing gigs and stuff. And that was where I got all my inspiration for like writing, really. So then when I had to be kind of stuck in the same place all the time, it was pretty hard to get that inspiration. And because you need that kind of natural flow, you're subconsciously taking in all this kind of information or, you know, all these feelings and stuff. And then, it can just come out at random times of the night. You never know,
Yeah.
really, do you? And when you first started playing that song, did it surprise you how well it was received, or did you always know with that song? Did you think, I think this is going to go down well?
I feel like you know if it's a good. I feel like you have a good feeling, right? You know when you're writing, you know this feels good, and when it comes easy as well, and like naturally, you know that there's something there because of that. But I don't think you can ever like predict that people. I don't think I could ever predict like that people were gonna love it as much as they did. I don't know. I think it's turned into a bit of an anthem, I think, and like, you know, one that people can sing along to, which is really nice. But no, I actually think sometimes I kind of I've actually started not showing people so much like initially my first ideas, because I always used to show like my housemates or like, you know, people I'm close to, send them little things, and then like that can really like make a difference as to whether you carry on writing that song or not. Because you know straight away the people that you're close to are going to be honest with you. So if they're like yeah, it's all right, yeah, it's good, you know, you're like, oh, okay, it's not one of my best, there's no point. And then you stop writing it. But that's one thing I've tried to get better at, is literally just, even if you think it's not great, just finish the song, because then once you've got the song out, then you can move on to something else and it'll probably be much better. So I'm trying to do more.
That's it, and that's really good advice to anyone that's kind of starting out in songwriting. Is you kind of have to get it out of your system, don't you? You kind of have to go through the process of it and get it done, and whether it becomes something that you put on an album or maybe just a track that you play every now and then, it's important to get it done, I think, like you say. So one other question is that I ask everyone, really: if you could co-write with anyone, who would it be? Can be anyone in the world, basically.
Who would it be if I could co-write with anyone? Jesus. Not Jesus. I mean, I didn't.
That would be an interesting song.
Can you imagine? Actually, I would co-write with Jesus. I mean, wouldn't you? Like,
Look, imagine the stories he could bring to the table.
Lots of inspiration there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably what can they be dead? Because I mean, like Freddie Mercury.
Oh wow.
You know, like like why not? Like I don't know. He's someone that's a bit different. I'm gonna say Freddie Mercury. Let's stick with that.
Yeah. I mean, imagine that. I mean, he'd be an amazing energy, I imagine, to co-write with. I was always a fan of Queen when I was growing up, and brilliant. And so what kind of before we move on to the other song we're going to talk about, what kind of were your influences when you started out? Like, what kind of artists would you say?
I mean, so obviously when I was like really young, it was all like Spice Girls and like Britney Spears and everything like that, you know. I remember having like, I had a Spice Girls necklace. I've got a picture of me standing on a chair like this with like Spice Girls necklace on. And I had like a Britney Spears poster as well. Christina Aguilera though, she was the one. She was the one for me.
Great voice.
But oh, I love her. But used to always listen to that Stripped album. But and then like Black Eyed Peas are like one of my favorite bands, still are. But then when I like got a bit older, it was always like rock music. I was like, my parents are really into their rock music and that, like Nirvana, Led Zeppelin, and more like a lot of like, which I've got into more as I've got older, but like a lot of like psychedelic rock and stuff as well, like Gong and Hawkwind and things like that. So yeah, a lot of that, and then kind of a lot of like old school reggae, like stuff like, you know, like Desmond Decker and Black Uru and stuff like that. So yeah, and also I guess like, because it's hard when you're trying to answer the like what are your influences, because I feel like a lot of the stuff I listen to isn't maybe directly my influences. Like I listen to a lot of different music. But I guess like people that really like maybe helped mold me at that age, maybe when I was like 13, 14, you know, when you really properly listening to music and kind of like really getting into writing more and stuff as well. People like Lily Allen, you know, like the Britpop kind of like, you know, like Blur and stuff like that. I was into that kind of stuff. Yeah, and like some soul stuff as well. But I feel like the weird thing is I've always been, not so much now maybe because I've learnt to rein it in with the vocals a little bit, but I've always kind of, people have always said I'm like compare me to like Janis Joplin. And I never used to listen to Janis Joplin. And then I started and then I kind of understand it a bit more now. But I think she's always, obviously she was like big rock vocals, right? And I think that's where I get that from. I think that's why people compare, because I've always listened to like a lot of rock music and like belters, and so yeah, loads of stuff.
Yeah, I mean I can definitely hear that kind of rock attitude as well, and some of the artists that you mentioned. Eric says, "I want to ride my bicycle now" by Queen.
I just saw Mona's like, it's defo the Psytrance, which just made me cracked me up. Yeah, Psytrance is my inspiration. Funny, I love that.
There's some great comments here. I can't put them all up, but Tony says your genuine self shone through in this interview. An hour well spent. Thank you, Tony.
Aww. Thanks, man.
And what have we got here? Yeah, we've got loads of great. Great things, but actually there's a few things I read on your bio. I'd love to know, because I do a bit of copywriting for like musicians and stuff, so I write bios and things like that.
Yeah.
And I really loved this bit, which is going to be a bit cringy. I'm just going to read it out, but I wrote it down. It says, "Nuala is the special cake, each song a slice you wish would never end." I think that's brilliant. I've never seen something like that in a bio before.
Do you know what? I wish Miguel was here right now, because my friend Miguel, my very close friend Miguel, he wrote that. And he's like a genius when it comes to like writing and like just like creative stuff like that. And he always said like, because I was like, do you want to write my bio? And so he was like, yeah. And he always said like bios are just really rubbish. They're either really contrived or they're just boring. It's really hard to write a good bio. So this was really nice, the idea that he's kind of like turning me into a cake.
It's brilliant. And like it really stands out, and you're right, because I mean I think the problem that musicians have as well, it's quite hard to write your own bio and make it sound interesting, because
it's weird.
People tend to just list down what they do and then kind of leave it at that. But yeah, something like that, it really caught my eye, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. So
I'm going to tell him that for sure.
Big up to him. He did that, Miguel. It's brilliant. And someone said here, yeah, we all want Nuala cake. Apparently, Dean.
I love it.
With some great comments. Thank you so much for everyone that's commenting.
Yeah,
I love it when people come along to the podcast and get involved. That's why we do it live, because you don't get to have this interaction really in many podcasts. So I really love it. And we try and respond to as many as we can, but obviously it's hard to do that in an hour. So yeah, why don't we? We've got about 5-10 minutes left, and what we do, we normally end on a song. So we'll chat about another song, and then we'll kind of play out with it, so the audience can watch that video and listen to that song as we go out. So which song are we going to go for next?
So are we doing another one to talk about, or the one that we're going out with?
I think we'll probably talk about the one we're going to go out with, because that will kind of make quite a lot of good sense, I reckon.
Yeah, so this one, everyone knows this one as well. It's called Away. And this is the one that I said to you before, was kind of like the song that I'd always end my sets with before I wrote Keep Running. And it was always like the anthem song at the end. And it's kind of, I think it's got a similar vibe to Keep Running. That's why. It's funny we're talking about both these songs, because Away is very much about kind of, again, like just like owning your own power, doing what you want to do. But it's more of like a personal one. I feel like Keep Running is a bit more, about being free, being with your friends and stuff like that. Like it's like a communal, like togetherness type song. Away is more like, you have this fire, you can do it. It's like a you can do it song. You know, like you have that within you type thing. And when for ages and still now, like that song is very much like makes me feel like I have power when I sing it. And it's like, I don't know, it just gives me that boost. It's like I needed that to be like, yeah, you can do it, Nuala. Yeah.
It's exactly kind of what I got out of it. Like this, it's quite an empowering song, and I love songs which kind of a great thing that I see in writers is when they kind of like introduce a song with a bang. They kind of tell you what the song's going to be about in the first lines.
Yeah.
And I've always had this fire burning deep inside of me. I've
Yeah.
always been a try. Don't do things half-heartedly. I get it straight away, and I'm like, okay, now I know what this song's like, what it's about. It's really cool.
Can I just say, though, it's really funny because most people do know, but then it was actually my auntie and someone else, there's been a couple of people that thought it was about sex.
Okay, yeah.
Could you, like, and I was like, oh my God, people have got such dirty minds. Like, what the fuck? No. But I love that, though. I love it that people, like, it's like they making it what they feel in their head. And I was thinking, oh my God, bless my auntie and those other people.
So your auntie like said that's what she thought it was about.
Yeah, and she was like, it's a very sexual song. I was like, is it? I was like, okay. So jokes. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. It is amazing what people take out of songs, isn't it? And you can be talking about something completely different, and then someone brings it. And sometimes I love it because I'm like, oh, I never thought you'd get that out of those lyrics, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah, it's so weird how different people perceive it. But that's the beauty of it, really, because you could write about what you want to write about, and it might be something else to someone else, which is great.
For sure.
Mona says amazing lyrics in this tune.
Thanks, girl.
And I think she finds the what we were just talking about quite funny as well. Dean says, I reckon another hour on this podcast. I'd love to, Dean. We have to keep it around about an hour for the audio because there's a cut-off point. But what I will do is invite Nuala to come back, and then we'll maybe talk about another song in the second series, because we're going to hopefully do a second series of this in the autumn, and then you can tell us all about America as well. Yeah. And we can even do it if you're still in America because of the beauty of the internet, and we've all learned to kind of do these podcasts on here. And Eric we'll just do one more question from Eric here before we go and we play the song. I think Eric asked this once before. I want to ask again, sorry, but did the camping trip inspire a new song or a Q song we haven't heard yet?
Not directly. I have written stuff since then, but I actually wrote a song. So yeah, maybe it will come though, But various experiences and things. And big up my Candy Castle crew, because that's who I spent that weekend with. Such a good night and day. And but yeah, lots of different experiences can kind of, they can kind of inspire at different times and all come together to kind of bring stuff out of me and that. But I actually wrote a song recently that I might post because my team in America were like, we want you to come up with any songs that are that you think could be for John Legend.
Oh, wow.
Weirdly. Yeah, they're in touch with his management and they're kind of interested in hearing some stuff. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I've I don't know if I'd want to give away anything that I think is really good, but I'm going to write something specifically. So I was listening to all of like John Legend's music the other day, and I came up with this song, and it's a bit of like a, it's a love song type thing, but maybe I'll post it and see what you guys think at some point.
I mean, wouldn't that be amazing? Like get a song commissioned for John Legend. That would
sick.
be that'd be pretty cool. Away should be a number one hit, says Dean. Yeah, why not? Forest Party, apparently. Okay, yeah.
Doesn't matter what it's called. God, why are you labeling it? Bless Eric, my bad. Mona. Love it.
So yeah, no, thank you so much to everyone that's been commenting. I've had a really good fun show, and I love it when it's like this because
it's been wicked.
it just keeps rolling, and the hour goes past in like what seems like about 10 minutes, and those are the best shows. So again, thank you so much for coming on. We will stay online, but we'll just be off screen for a second while the song plays out, and then the show kind of goes down. But before we go, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone again for watching. If you're listening on the audio podcast, thank you. Keep sharing it around, keep listening. They're going to be there forever, these recordings, so you can listen wherever you are in the world, whenever you want, if you're on your holiday or on a train or something like that. We've got 10 episodes now, so we're going to take it up to about 15 episodes before the second series. So keep listening, keep watching. Thank you for all your comments, and I'll be back next week with another fantastic artist. That's 7:30 on Wednesday. So subscribe if you can to YouTube, because that helps us out, because it notifies everyone when we're going live. So
and it's called Isolation Gigs, isn't it?
It's Elliot Porter Music on YouTube to subscribe to, but Isolation Gigs on Facebook is where we post and we go live on. So
all the information is at the top, isn't it, of this? So
all the information is at the top, and I'll put it on it's on the YouTube thing as well. So
wicked.
So thank you very much, and we are going to play out with another very amazing song called Away.
Thank you so much, guys. I love you all, and thank you, Elliot, for having me as well. This has been really good.
Absolute pleasure, and definitely come back for season 2.
Will do.
Because I know you've got loads of other songs we want to talk about as well. So
yep. See you later, guys.
I've always had this fire burning deep inside of me. I've always been a trier. Don't do things half-heartedly. I don't wanna watch by getting so sick and tired of being told to take my time. And I don't need to chill out. I'm not being too loud. I don't wanna listen to the lies. I wanna feel the heat, feel the strain in my body. I wanna know, I wanna know. How do I get there where you are? Tell me, 'cause I wanna go, I wanna go. To be quiet, I'll speak when I wanna speak. I wanna let desire. Dreams won't be a fantasy. I